Good evening and welcome to the Cynthia Strong Show, and I'm your host, Cynthia Strong. This evening, the program has been divided into 4 segments, and the first segment will consist of a panel discussion where we will discuss the following topics. A, the 2 presidential candidates, Mitt Romney and Barack Obama, the war on minorities as it relates to the prison system and immigration. The second segment will consist of a musical performance by the Love Tones. The third segment will consist of a one-on-one interview regarding ADHD. And the last segment will consist of musical selections by a duo. The second segment will consist, and now I'd like to introduce the panel. First, we have Pastor Herold Aubourg, and then we have Garrison Bond. Gentlemen, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having us. Good morning.
Likewise, likewise.
Well, we're ready to begin. Now, Mitt Romney is a Mormon. Mormons are Christian, but the problem is that their belief differs from the mainstream Christians. For example, they practice plural marriage and proselytizing and read the Book of Mormon, just to name a few. So my question is America ready for a Mormon president? Pastor Herold?
I think that's a good question, but personally, I don't believe that our personal life or our religion should be part of vetting a president, because it might bring value, but the thing is, I don't think that should be one of the criteria for Mitt Romney to be president of the United States. Just as a Muslim, is America ready for a Muslim president? I don't think that's. I think that you have to have a resume, a good resume, just like anything. It's just like going to even applying for a job. Is the job ready for a pastor? I don't think it should be that way. And I believe that person should be qualified with the credential that the job demands. I think that's the way I think. I think Mitt Romney is fit to be president of the United States. I don't think without being a Mormon or not.
Okay, Garrison?
I tend to agree. I don't think religion should have anything necessarily to do with it. I know a bit about the history of Mormonism and so forth, and I think it's kind of way out there anyhow. Black people were not even allowed to become Mormons. Now, I've seen a billboard talk about the new face of Mormonism. They show black women. But in fact, most religions in this country excluded black people. This is why we had to have our own black churches. But I don't think America is ready for, certainly our people are not ready for Mr. Mitt Romney, period, who would slash almost any type of aid, Medicare, Medicaid, food stamp programs, any kind of dependence, governmental assistance to the so-called poor. So I don't think it's Mormonism. I think we're not ready for somebody who has the privileged background of a Mitt Romney. I think it would be, and I hope all of our people get together and get out there and vote. We do not want a Mitt Romney in office. And so his religious background really, if he cares about the people, that's, period, that's consistent with the nature of Christ, period. So religion really shouldn't have anything to do with it, really.
So, in other words, do you think that he will pass legislation that will be contrary to the values, beliefs of the American people?
Absolutely, the needs of the American people, yes it is. Yes, he definitely will. I've watched him on television. I've watched a lot of political programs, and I'll tell you, I think the entire Republican Party, when you look right across the country, they're really out of touch, I think, with people and so forth. I think I find them to be very, very unsympathetic and uncaring, period. And they craft all types of lies. I mean, when you look at what's going on with Scott Walker in Wisconsin, their attempts to make it more difficult for people of a so-called lower socio-economical level, primarily poor people. I hate to say black people, but I mean, economically, we're not on the same levels. We're not the CEOs of corporations. We don't own the financial institutions. We control none of the real estate. If you look almost all across this country, maybe in Atlanta we have some footing. So he wants to keep all the wealth and everything in the privilege in the hands of white people. And we see this globally, historically, this is a fact, and black people better wake up. I think we've seen so many examples of white supremacy throughout the ages, throughout the history. And I think black people better get together and cast their votes to make absolutely sure we're ready come November to make sure Mitt Romney does not get to see the presidency, because I think people are going to suffer. And like I tell people all the time, they're building prisons. And who's going to populate them? They got millions of black men in this prison. I think we have more people in prison, more than I think China, Russia, several countries. So if there are no jobs, people will steal. People will steal because they're hungry, trying to provide for their families. If they cut everything, forget it. We're in a lot of trouble. We don't need Mitt Romney in office.
And
he's in Boston too. I don't know if you know that. I was coming through.
Why is he in Boston?
I don't know, but I was coming through Commercial Street yesterday because I was going out to Lynn, and I was held up in traffic because Mitt Romney's camp is in Boston.
In all fairness, you believe that Mitt Romney will not be a good president, and that he will adversely affect the religious beliefs of the American people?
Yes, yeah.
And not only that, the economic base.
Absolutely. I've looked at Mormonism before, and I had this DVD. It's by Bill Maher, and it showed how they actually believe that you will stand before Joseph Smith, God, and Jesus. Joseph Smith, I think, was the founder of this. It was ridiculous, and you had to become, originally they had to believe that you had to become sufficiently white. And I have this information at home to become a Mormon. Also that either there was some whacked out planet that either Jesus had interrelationship with all the different women and so forth. It's crazy. You have to one day, I'll share it with you. This is what they're, one of the original
Wait a second. What are you talking about? Is this a book?
This is Mormonism, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And Bill Maher was this guy. You've heard of A Real Time with Bill Maher. And I was watching, this is why there are a lot of people who have defected from Mormonism, because of their whacked out beliefs. So now they're probably to try to fit into more the mainstream, they'll probably make some adjustments to what they originally taught. But always remember, and I tell everyone in the audience, black people were not allowed to become Mormons. Just like all across this country, you couldn't go to white churches originally. A lot of the people who were hosing down Martin Luther King, they were white, and they were in church too, but black people could not attend white churches, which means they're not getting the message of Jesus. Mormons will only make the adjustment is their political expedience to try for Mitt Romney to get into the White House. That's all it's about. If they make any adjustments, it's only to confuse, I think, we as a people. And black people have been, I think, much too forgiving for the centuries of suffering we've gone through. And so it's only a political move. But don't be deceived.
And if I can interject, are we going back to the question you asked? Would he pass the law based on his religion? And I don't think any president that comes in, I don't think that, they do that, pass laws upon what they believe. Because, as I believe that every president that comes in, they go into the center and lead. Because even if Benny Hinn was president, Benny Hinn couldn't lead the United States enforcing, using a kingdom kind of government to any kind of other government. No, he can't do that. Because you cannot force everybody to be a believer, force everybody to do this. No, you can't. You know what I mean? So therefore, based on that, we have to take Mitt Romney as a Mormon, then therefore have a religion discussion, then therefore and say, is he qualified to be president? And the way Mitt Romney is talking right now, I don't think what we're going through right now, I think Obama has been doing a great job taking us from 8,000 in the stock market, now the stock market is 13,000, bring back a lot of jobs, even though they say he didn't do nothing. You know what, he's so far You know what? Just like Mitt Romney said, you know what? The housing market, let it crash, and immigration, let deport everybody. And you know, you cannot do that in the period we're going through. I think Obama has done a good job. I think, and like I said here before on the program, prophetically, I'm speaking this morning that Obama will win this election by a great margin. I don't care about what the polls are saying, because even the super PAC is giving the pollsters money to put out numbers in there. I don't think Obama, in the run now, they said Obama is 48 and Mitt Romney 42nd. That's the biggest lie. It's not true. It's whoever's being paid for that. It's not true. And I'll tell you this, mark my word here, I'm saying it prophetically now, that you know Obama will win this election by a great margin.
It's all propaganda.
It's all propaganda. That's right. That's right. Because
Exactly.
people, you know, there are millions of dollars behind a poll and saying this is the way it is now. This is the way it is. There is this, you know, it's all bunch of propaganda. You know.
Garrison, I agree with what you're saying, and at the same time, the Mormons are proselytizing people, and if they're going out and converting people, they're sending them a message. So what kind of message are they giving them? Is it based on scripture? That is the question.
Yeah, that's right.
They're really only trying to bolster their numbers. I remember seeing I remember seeing something. You see them walking in pairs, white shirts, black ties, black slacks with a little carried pack with them, trying to attract black people to their so-called religion. It's all a game, you know. And these are the same people that don't, you know, they're connected with people with money, and when you look historically down through the centuries, it's those who have money, those who have power, who have always stepped on the necks and the necks of the people, the poor. And this is why black people need to really get together and rise up, not allow them to take advantage of, just as Jews will say, never again. I mean, and something I want to include. When you look on television, they're always putting white men opposite black women. You look at the movie Halle Berry played in Monsters Ball. Do you think a black man would be pounding away sexually on a white female the way with their big white female stars? When you look at all the award show, everybody's white. They'll have a little black person here or there. But they would never have turned around and done the very same thing, have a black man doing what that white man did to Halle Berry in the movie. See, black people need to wake up and stop this nonsense and always giving so much credibility and power to whites. Instead of looking at, they've controlled everything. Who has all the weapons of mass destruction? Romney is the kind of a person who's affiliated with these types of people, but they trick us into believing we're included. It's a lie. They have never done it. This is why anywhere whites have gone, they have attacked non-white cultures. And black people out in that listening audience, you better wake up and listen. Love who you are as a black person. Do not look at these white individuals as being more beautiful than you are, because they copy everything we do. They copy the way we sing. You see this on TV. Everything, the way we dance, the way we move. Romney is a part of that privileged historical thinking. This is why you hear the term old money. Who won't control? If you look at our America, who controls all the mansions? White people. I've been to some of these. I've performed. I've been in, and I find a lot of white people very straightforward with me, because they know I'm not one of these butt kissers. I tell white people very emphatically what they've done to our people, and I'm not going to deal with your drugs. I'm not going to deal with, I would never pimp a black woman. I'm not no gangbanger, but if you're coming to my neighborhood, I've talked to mafia people. You will go out here in a body bag, because I've taught my daughter, you don't put up with that garbage. Whites have always been doing a lot of evil to us, and black people better wake up and stop being so stupid and always looking at white beauty as an example, the blonde hair. Why look like them? Well, they copy everything we do. Look in Africa, archaeologists, they're always studying black people. Why are they always studying us? Show me a black man who's studying white people anywhere in Europe. And this is something black people better wake up and look at. Whites are not superior to us. They never were. They're the ones who are diseased. We're the most powerful people on the planet. We are the original people on this planet. You cannot get a white person, a black person from two white people. The black woman is the mother of all civilization. And I think black people, don't you let this white supremacy, this trick of this illusion of inclusion. That's what I call it. And this is something I hope every one of you in this listening audience, you better wake up and you better listen. It's all about white supremacy.
Okay, we have to re-educate or
We do.
educate the population.
Absolutely.
So if we educate them, they will know who they are, where they came from, where they're going, and all that. We have a job on our hands.
We do.
that's the case, we need to mobilize and galvanize the people. What do you think we should do in order to galvanize them?
I'll let Brother Pastor here. I would run
No,
my
but the
mouth.
thing is, you know what? In every religion, in every nation, or in every history, that keep recurring. But the thing is, you know what? I believe that that's the song we've been singing for a long time. You know, we've been singing that song.
We shall
So
overcome.
therefore, not with the therefore we shall overcome. We have overcame. As a believer, we all have overcame. But the thing is putting into action. You know, it took one person. Martin Luther King died for that to end. But the thing is, what are we doing in terms of action? I can give you instruction all the time. But the thing is, if you don't follow the instruction, you go to the doctors, they say, take Tylenol, take this for your high blood pressure, take this for your sugar. But the thing is, if you go home and then with the prescription in your hand, and then you never execute, you know, go to the pharmacy and pick up your prescription and then take the medication, then therefore nothing will happen.
I agree.
So the thing is, you know what, we need to turn into action. You know what, you get on the train. You as a minority, you scared.
Okay,
You see
thank
what
you,
I'm saying? So
Pastor.
it's very important.
Okay, the next topic. President Obama supports gay and lesbian marriage, and as a result, he's viewed more favorably by a third of Americans and at the same time, less favorably by a third of Americans. So how do you view the president's decision, or are you indifferent given the divisiveness of the question?
Well, I'll tell you this. For a person that gives seminar on homosexuality, personally as a pastor, you know what? I go with the word of God. But the thing is, if I am the president of the United States leading the nation, then therefore I'll have a totally different perspective, because I'm not basing my, because we talk about civil rights law, just like Colonel Powell just nicely put it. He says this thing is a question of civil rights. You know, as a believer, it's me against the world. Like Jesus, you know, when Jesus came, he never bothered the world. He bothered the believers, the Pharisees, us. He was trying to fix us together. You know, unless we are together, because God has given us authority to bind, to take these things out. If you don't have no authority, you know what? Misunderstanding brings fear. When you don't, you know, that's what I say this, you know, when I give my seminar, I said, you know what, it's okay to do this, because you know what, but the thing is, you have to give us the rule of engagement.
Okay, thank
Because
you,
without
Pastor.
the rule of engagement, you can't deal with this. But the thing is, Obama personally, I'll say this, and then I'll end. Personally, he said that, you know what, as a father, I'm not in support of it. But the thing is, as a civil right law, then therefore, you know what, that's it.
Thank you,
You know,
Pastor.
as long as, you know, there is something in the body of Christ, they start using it this year. You know what, you got lanes. Everybody stay on their lane. You know, as the church, we have to stay on our lane.
Right, thank you, Pastor.
Thank you.
Garrison?
Yeah, and I think part of it, you know, Obama has to appeal to the people. People have a right to make those decisions. Personally, I'm no drinker. I don't do drugs, and I don't smoke marijuana or whatever. That's my choice. I'm an entertainer, and I know people that do. But Barack has to. I mean, if fornication is considered wrong in the Bible, you know.
Okay.
But he has to allow for the people to do their thing, so to speak.
Okay, thank you, Garrison. There's a war on minorities, and the war encompasses different faces or facets of society. Therefore, we'll focus upon the prison system in that they practice solitary confinement, which debilitates prisoners, whether it be physically, mentally, or both. And the social ramifications are unprecedented. So what's your take on solitary confinement or the prison system as a whole? Pastor Herold?
Well, I'm not too schooled on that, but I think I'll give you my opinion. You know, I think a couple of days ago, I was on the phone with a friend, and we were talking about finance. He said that, you know what, do you know Bill Gates and a bunch of billionaires got together just to think about how much money they should increase their giving to take care of what the poverty was going on in the nation. But the thing is, you know what, the thing is nobody never talk, everybody is millionaire, everybody try to get their piece of the pie. But the thing is nobody want to come and reach out to the people. You know what I'm saying? Because the reason why these people is looking for a hero, they're looking for a model is very important.
Thank you, Pastor. Garrison?
Well, solitary confinement, maybe some people may be so dangerous they may require it. Well, I think it's going to be about education, really. Educating our young people to stop all this crime, because black men do not need to be populating these prisons anyway. Some people in prison, unfortunately, because of a negative environment, negative upbringing, sometimes, you know, it's not, I don't like the prison system, period, anyhow.
Okay. New immigration laws are taking effect across the United States. Some are beneficial, such as the California DREAM Act, which allows students lacking citizenship to secure financial aid to attend public universities. Others are punitive in nature, such as Alabama's E-Verify program, which enables employees to verify the citizenship status of potential employees. So my question is, should states usurp the duties of the federal government and create their own immigration laws, or let the government do its job?
I think it should be on a state-by-state level.
Okay, Garrison?
Well, it's kind of like a dual thing, because you have to have federal law also and so forth. And this
So you think it's a dual thing?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, well, in
think.
closing, I strongly believe that if states create immigration laws, they should focus upon economic, political, family reunification, natural disaster, poverty, or some other aspects of daily life. Well, we're running out of time.
Okay.
So that concludes the first segment of the show, and we're bringing out the love tones. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome. But before we bring out the love tones, we're taking a break. If the technicians are ready, they can roll the clip.